Kohlberg Stages of Moral Development by Group 4. In the end of this lesson, you will be able to remember, apply, and then give examples that relate to the stages of moral development. Lawrence Kohlberg was an American psychologist holding the degree of PhD in psychology from the University of Chicago. He was best known for his research on moral development and education. His work was built upon Jean Piaget's theories of cognitive development, but he expanded them into a systematic stage theory of moral reasoning. His theory has 3 levels with 2 stages each. This is the paradigm of the stages of moral development. It consists of 3 levels. The first level is pre-conventional, consisting of self-interest and reward punishment. The second level, called conventional, consists of law and order and pleasing others. The third level is post-conventional, where you are expected to have a principle and social contract. In the pre-conventional level, stage 1, punishment obedience, right and wrong are determined by consequences, or in other words, avoiding punishment. This stage can mostly be seen on early childhood individuals. Stage 2, mutual benefit. Morality is based on self-interest and reciprocal benefit. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. This stage can mostly be seen on late childhood individuals.
Level 2, conventional reasoning. This level emerges during adolescence and continues into adulthood. You might be wondering, what's the connection between conventional and adolescence? This is where Suntrock's developmental task comes in. Let's think of adolescence as a period where the world starts getting a lot bigger and more demanding. According to Suntrock, teenagers are faced with crucial tasks like figuring out how to make good friends and how to become a responsible person in a community. Kohlberg's conventional level is simply the moral strategy that teens use to successfully achieve these social goals. The need to belong and to prepare for adulthood is what pushes moral thinking into this conventional stage. Adolescence is the period of establishing identity and the intense need for belonging. That is why stage 3 is social approval. Imagine your main goal is to be liked by your friends and get approval from your family. In this stage, a moral decision is right if it pleases others and maintains immediate close relationships. For example, a student might decide not to cheat on a test because they want their classmates to see them as honest and reliable, or they don't want to disappoint their parents. This moral thinking is perfectly aligned with Suntrock's task of achieving mature relationships with peers. Social connection and identity exploration through relationships, coupled with the cognitive and moral development, leads them to understand and generally conform to societal laws. And speaking of societal laws, stage 4 is law and order. As teenagers mature, their focus broadens from just their friends to the entire society. In this stage, the individual's moral choice is guided by the belief that laws must be followed and duties must be upheld to prevent chaos and keep society stable. A person here doesn't follow a law just because their friend told them to, but because they understand that if everyone broke the rules, the system, like the school, city, or even the country, would fall apart. To guide students at the conventional level, our teaching strategies must promote empathy, social role-taking, and an appreciation for systematic order. We can encourage cooperative group work with clearly defined roles such as leader, presenter, or even editor. When conflict arises, we can ask questions that challenge their focus on self and promote stage 3 thinking. We can involve students in discussions about the purpose behind the rules. Instead of just enforcing a rule, we can explain and by asking,
Level 3 or post-convention reality. A person here does not just follow rules because they are told to. Instead, they begin to think deeply about what is truly right or wrong. They understand that rules and laws are created by people, and sometimes these rules may not be fair to everyone. In this level, morality is based on personal values, human rights, and fairness, not just obedience. The person asks questions like, is this law good for everyone? Does this rule protect people, or does it hurt them? For example, imagine a rule in school that says no one is allowed to speak during class at all, but the student sees another classmate choking. A person in level 3 would speak up to save them, even if it means breaking the rule, because protecting life is more important than staying silent. There are two stages in level 3. The first stage is stage 5, which is social contract. It recognizes differing values and rights. Morality involves upholding universal principles for the greater good, even if law conflicts. In stage 5, a person starts to understand that people have different opinions, values, and needs. They realize that laws are made to help everyone, but they also know that some laws can be unfair. So, instead of following rules blindly, they think about what is best for the whole community. For example, imagine there is a rule that says no one is allowed to bring food into a hospital, but the child's sick mother hasn't eaten all day, and the only way to help her is to bring food. A person in stage 5 would say, this rule exists for a reason, but helping a hungry sick person is more important for everyone's well-being. They care about fairness and greater good, not just strict rules. In stage 6, or the universal principle, moral thinking becomes even deeper. Here, a person follows strong personal principles like justice, equality, and respect for human rights. These principles guide their actions, even if it means disobeying laws. For example, long ago, there were laws that allowed unfair treatment of certain groups of people. A person in stage 6 would refuse to support these laws because they believe that everyone deserves equal respect and rights. They would stand up and say, even if the law says this is okay, it is still wrong and I will not agree with that. Okay, so now I will give you a simple way to remember stages 5 and 6. For stage 5, rules are important, but they should help everyone. If a rule is unfair, we should think about changing it. In stage 6, what is right is based on justice and human rights, even if the law disagrees.
Jean Piaget. Piaget explained that children think and learn differently as they grow. He divided their thinking into 4 stages. First, we have sensory motor stage, birth about 2 years, where infants learn through sensory experiences and actions. So, babies learn using their senses like seeing, touching, and hearing, and actions like grabbing and crawling. They learn by exploring the world around them. Second, we have pre-operational stage, ages about 2 to 7 years old, characterized by symbolic thinking, egocentrism, and limited logical reasoning. So this is where the kids start using symbols like words and pictures, Their thinking is still simple. They may be egocentric, like only see things from their point of view, and they cannot think logically yet. Third, we have concrete operational stage, ages about 7 to 11 years old, where children develop logical thinking about concrete objects and understand concepts like conversation and reversibility. So in this way, children begin to think more logically, but only about real concrete objects. They start to understand ideas like conversation. When we say concrete objects, means real things that you can hold, and not imaginary or abstract ideas. The last one, we have formal operational stage, ages 12 and up, marked by the ability to think abstractly, systematically, and hypothetically. In this stage, teens can now think deeply and abstractly. They can reason, plan, and think about hypothetical or what-ifs situation.